You know the great thing about today? We can play whatever music we want.
Well, that's what I was just doing.
Grumpy's not here.
I was just trying to bring over some. Let's do that.
What's going on, Dusty?
All right. Are you live? You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Let's see. Am I ready to go? There. Right.
The following program was broadcast at this time.
The following program is sponsored by Mr. Texas Real Estate. Welcome to the Texas Real Estate Radio Network with Mr. Texas Real Estate Jason Bible and Mr. California Investor Robert Orfino. Join us as Jason and Robert talk about the hottest real estate market in the country, the entire state of Texas. Learn why Texas is such a great market to invest in and why it could be strong for years to come. Get ready to talk all things Texas on your new home on the way to the office. Texas Real Estate Radio.
Welcome to the show. Jason Bible, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Today's theme is embracing reality. I've had some fascinating discussions over the last week with folks or about folks that they just refuse to embrace reality. And what's real right now? There's a ton of stuff that's going on in this marketplace, whether it's, coronavirus related, politics. But I'll bring it down to something real simple, just numbers. So as you guys know, we are now members of EXP. They're an international brokerage. It's a virtual brokerage, so there's no brick and mortar offices. You're not tied down to a particular region. You're just a real estate agent for this international brokerage. The reason we did that is really for a couple of reasons. One is it allows us the capability to buy properties, operate in other cities without having to set up another brokerage. And the other reason we did it is for the money. Rob and I are on this radio show every single day. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. In fact, we're moving everything to YouTube. So if you guys are looking for us, the Mixer Texas Real Estate Radio Network on YouTube, that's us. Subscribe there. That's where most of our content is going to end up. One of the things that we realized is when doing all of this stuff, we're really trying to meet two goals, and that is deals and money. And last night we had our Dungeons and Dragons night, which Rob was Dungeon Master for. Rumor is we're going to get to meet a dragon at some point, so everyone's pretty excited. But the reality is we're all doing this for two things, deals and money. So last night we're doing our Dungeons and Dragons time. And I'm literally getting text messages, emails, and messages on Facebook about, guess what? Deals and money. Hey, I got an apartment complex. Hey, I just got one in Richmond, Rosenberg area. Just randomly sent messages. Hey, Jason, check out this deal. I got this one under contract. Hey, this is what we're doing here. In fact, this morning before I got on the radio show, somebody in our mastermind group said, hey, I got 26 acres. If anybody wants to do a development deal, I'll get you in contact with the seller. So that's all we're really here for is deals and money. And those deals and money are a simple math equation. This is not real difficult. I really wish I could tell you there's some super secret way to buy all the houses that we've bought. Rob and I are up over 1,000 between the two of us now, between apartments and houses and all that other stuff. I wish I could tell you there's some super secret code I could sell you that would unlock your wealth potential. There's really not. It's real simple math. If I buy this thing, will it produce cash? That's as difficult as real estate gets. If I buy something, will it produce cash? That's it. That's the whole equation. So really the most difficult thing is finding deals at the same time you find the money to do the deal. Even if it's your own money. At some point you run out of your own money. Trust me, I don't care how many millions, hundreds of millions you have, at some point you run out of your own money to do real estate. So at the same time you find the deal, you've got to find the money. So it's a real simple addition, subtraction. It's no more difficult than that. There's a little bit of multiplication, occasionally some division, but there's no real long equations. Like it's real simple. So to run numbers is fairly easy in the industry that we're in. So yesterday, I see a post. You guys know Chris Bounds. He's in our EXP group. And he puts this post up, and he said, hey, guys, EXP stock just cracked $40 a share. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So about a year and a half, a little less than 2 years ago, a buddy of mine, Brant, who has also been on this program, started his EXP group. We're actually in his group as well. And he put this post on Facebook and he said, yeah, in that time, I've got about 6,000 shares gifted to him. These are free. Let me say that again. So in EXP, if you do certain things and hit certain milestones, the company vests shares of their company to you. And meaning he didn't pay anything for him. He just got him. He got his cap. He helped other people get to their cap. He recruited people to his organization. And they gifted him 6,000 shares. So somebody run the math. Maybe the audience can help me out here today. Let me see. EXP is trading right now at $40.70. So let's see. Brent has 6,000 shares times 40.7, 244,200 bucks in a little less than 2 years. I think he's been doing it about a year and a half. So he didn't pay a dime for these things. He was gifted these things. He was given $244,000 in shares. Now, what's fascinating is because people are doing deals around him, he's making $6,000, $7,000 a month passively as he builds this organization. So now you're probably asking the question, Jason, why are you telling me this story? Well, a friend of mine was having a conversation with another friend of mine, and I heard about this from this individual. She had told me that they had this conversation together, and she said, hey, I talked to so-and-so. I said, oh, okay, well, is he going to join our EXP group or not? She said, well, he said the numbers don't add up. I said, what numbers? Well, there's a cap, and then there's, we've got some other stuff we got to pay monthly for. There's like a CRM. It's like $80 a month. There's some other miscellaneous fees like you would have at any other brokerage. Like this is just the cost of doing business at any brokerage. It's not just EXP that has these things. So she says, yeah, the numbers just don't add up. And Rob and I just started laughing. I said, hey, what's so funny? I said, well, a buddy of ours that started this a year and a half ago has gained almost $250,000 in shares and is making $7,000 a month. And I can tell you right now, I know for a fact that guy's not even within sniffing distance of that. And the numbers don't add up. Come on. This is not that hard. You got to embrace reality at some point. We get back from the break. Let's see, somebody's asking me to cover an article. I'll pull it up real quick, and then we'll see. Get back from the break. More about reality and real estate. It's Jason Bible, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can go over that article, Robert. I think it's a good one for everybody. Let me see if I can show it.
Finally, ready when you are.
All right, let's do it. Welcome back. Today's show's all about embracing reality. So again, just to go over this from the last segment, buddy of mine, Brant, started an EXP about a year and a half ago, less than somewhere between a year and a half, 2 years ago. EXP shares have shot up to about $40 a share. He's been gifted about 6,000 of these things for doing certain things in the organization. Recruiting people, having agents meet their cap, which the cap in EXP, I want to say is only like 16 grand. It's nothing. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, somebody have to correct me or if I'm wrong, I believe he's actually an Icon agent with EXP as well. I don't think he does a whole lot of listings. So he's had all this wild success, and this has been a part-time thing for him. Brant's a guy like Rob and I. He invests in mobile home parks. Rob and I invest in Airbnb and small apartments. So he's a busy guy. Oh, and by the way, he's got a whole basketball team over there. He's got 5 kids. So with him and his wife on the bench, they got 2 people that can, that they can replace on the court at any one time. So the guy's busy. And he's up almost $250,000. Plus he's making another $5,000 to $7,000 a month in income. And so we're having this conversation with a friend of ours. Well, I just don't, the numbers don't make sense to me. I'm like, what numbers don't make sense? Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't a too good to be true scenario because he had to work for him. Like, you still got to work. The little joke I had when I used to do real estate seminars was, let me tell you guys all the secret of real estate. There's a room of 200 people. I'd say, all right, everybody we're going to get real quiet here because we don't want the people at the back of the room or the folks that left to go to the restroom. We don't want to hear this big secret. And I'll say, everybody get real close. I have everybody lean in, like 200 people in the seminar. Everybody lean in. Shh, hey, all right, I got a secret to tell you. I'm going to tell you the secret to real estate, but you can't tell anybody. Shh. The secret to real estate is hard work. And everyone kind of look at me. They think this guy is such a. And then I go, well, look, here's the reality. This is not that difficult. We're not asking you to be Elon Musk here. We're not asking you to invent the next great solar panel or the next great electric car. All we're doing is saying, hey, look, you see this house right here? Needs a little work. When we rent the thing out, it produces cash. Or we go and buy this little apartment complex, we fix it up, we change the tenants around, increase the rents, and bang, it produces cash. It's no more difficult than that. It's just really simple math. However, instead of embracing reality, A lot of people get their ego involved. I'm seeing this on the coronavirus stuff. It's insane. Rob and I talked a little bit about this yesterday at lunch. You knew exactly what was going to happen at Notre Dame and UNC. Come on. You open up those schools, the kids had all those little parties before school, bang, 200 cases like overnight. What did you think was going to happen? Come on. Let's embrace reality. Oh, I don't want to wear a mask. You're just going to get sick. It's that simple. This is not hard. It's the same thing. I can tell you it's going to be the same thing in politics. Guarantee you, I can guarantee you 100% chance if a certain person becomes president, your taxes will go up. 100% chance of that happening. 100%. Guaranteed. Which is fine. If you want that to happen, that's fine. How about your IRAs? Oh, there's so much money sitting out there in IRAs, and the government can't get their hands on it. Oh, they're just salivating over the opportunity to get their hands on that money. Just a matter of time until you're not going to be able to do some of the things in your IRA that you could do. So let's start embracing reality. EXP is fantastic if you work. Real estate's a fantastic opportunity if you work. We were meeting yesterday. We had our partner meeting at the new office building, the Texas Real Estate Center. It is coming along just absolutely spectacular. It looks fantastic. The interior is almost done. I will tell you this. I will give Rob huge credit for how well the building looks. And let me tell you what it is. So if you guys walk into a commercial building, this room's actually a good example. If you look down at the baseboard, there's this like rubber baseboard down at the very bottom. It's real typical for buildings like this one, a little Class B, Class C building. Some cases, even Class A buildings have them. And they're fine. It's a little rubber thing. They stick it on there. They can cut it with a pair of scissors. Rob put in, I want to say it's a 4 or a 5-inch MDF on the bottom, and we're painting it white. And it looks just spectacular. We were walking let's say a 50-plus unit about 3 weeks ago. And we're walking the property, and Rob said, if they just spent a couple of $100 extra bucks, maybe less than $1,000 on the make ready in this thing, they would look phenomenal. So we've identified materials that are A, more durable, and B, just plain look better. That's how we stay at top of market rents. Our little Section 8 rentals in Cashmere Gardens that are 700 square feet that rent for almost $900 a month. Those same cabinets and countertops are in our $500,000 beach homes. They look good at any price point. Now, when you get above $500,000-$600,000, well, now you got to start using a little bit more expensive stuff. But if you use that high quality stuff that's a little more durable, it looks great. So what's the reality here? The reality is we want top of market rents. So how are we going to get top of market rents? We put in the best stuff in that marketplace. We build the best properties. It's that simple. You can't cut corners when you're trying to maximize cash. You can do some best practices. You can try and drive down your costs. Give you a great example. Rob, this is one of the things driving Rob crazy right now. We really want to become a window distributor. One project alone in Corpus Christi, we ordered almost 50 windows. They're bringing them on an 18-wheeler. We just don't have time to get to it right now, but at some point we're going to be our own window distributor simply because we buy so many windows. The reality is, at some point we got to get in the window business. So yesterday we're in our partner meeting and we're talking about all the deals we're doing. So our deal board, we went ahead and put our deal board up in the Texas Real Estate Center. It's not on the second floor. It's on the first floor where our working office is at. That's just because our offices aren't done yet. And one of our partners said, man, you guys buy a lot of really good deals. And I said, we do, but here's the reality that we had to embrace 2 years ago. In order for us to do these really great deals, we needed to own as much of the value chain as possible. And what does that mean? We needed to own the construction company, the insurance company, the title company, the transaction court. Like, we needed to own every piece of it, not necessarily so we could drive down prices, but so we could control the whole deal. That's one of the reasons why we buy such great deals. All right, we get back from the break. I'm going to talk about mortgage forbearances. I'll give you my opinion on all that stuff. It's Jason Bible, Texas Real Estate Radio Network.
I had wood laminate floors put out throughout my whole house just recently.
Yeah.
And we put in the 5-inch.
Looks great, doesn't it?
Oh, my God.
It's
It looks so much better than that little.
Yeah.
Even the little white, just phenomenal.
Yeah, and you're like, you spent all this money on floors. You're like, maybe I should have just done that.
Yeah. That was a big chunk. But, hey, we had shitty floors for years.
I'm excited about this house we're buying in Spring Branch because it's got original wood floors from the 60s.
Oh, my.
It's going to look great when we refinish them.
Oh, my goodness.
And I don't want them like old school wood where you refinish them and then they're just shiny.
Ready when you are.
I'm ready to go. Just zipping through Zero Hedge's headlines right here. Duke professor proposes 12 trillion in reparations. That's $800,000 per eligible black household. I couldn't think of a worse idea on the planet. But here's the deal, guys. Buying a lot of real estate insulates you from a lot of nonsense. It really does. Because this kind of stuff is only going to get worse. Let's say the federal government decides to go out and print $12 trillion for a certain subgroup in the United States. Where do you think that 12 trillion is going to end up at? If you think real estate's expensive now, just wait. All the money shows up in 4 different places: cars, houses, education, healthcare. That's what Americans really spend money on. When they borrow money, what are most Americans borrowing money for? Cars, houses, education, healthcare. Where's all the inflation at? This is what I love about the inflation folks that are talking about, well, Jason, there's not any real inflation. I'm like, I don't know. Where do you think that inflation's at? Let's look what's gotten really expensive over the last 10 years. Education, healthcare, cars, real estate. I'm always in the market for a car. I love cars, so I'm always looking at trucks, cars, and all that other stuff. There's only one company, that has consistently reduced the price of their vehicles. Anybody want to take a wild guess? That would be Tesla. Tesla's the only one that reduces the price on their cars. Only one. Nobody else does it. Every year, price gets more expensive for a Toyota Tundra. Not for a Model 3. It's really fascinating to watch. Now, speaking of Tesla, you guys, we test drove some Teslas, I don't know, about a month or so ago. And the preview of that video is on our YouTube channel. And I got to tell you, A-Rock, our video guy, did a phenomenal job. It's about a 40-second clip. Highly recommend you take a look at it. That's a preview of all the cool stuff that is about to come. And the longer version is going to be out here in the next week or two. But that's what our videos are going to look like from here on out. It just looks fantastic. Tesla's the only one I know that's gotten any cheaper. Everything else gets more expensive. Now, it may be a little bit higher quality. Have you priced a regular Jeep Wrangler these days? Like, I think if you can get one brand new for less than $40,000, you're doing a really good job. $40,000 for a Jeep. 40 grand. It's insane. So where did all this inflation come from? Because let's be honest, if Jeep couldn't sell them for 40 grand, what would they sell them? They'd sell them for something less. But they're selling them for that for a reason, right? Because that's the price they can command for them. But what was a Jeep 10 years ago? 25 grand, 26, what did a 2010 Jeep Unlimited sell for? Just a basic one. I bet it's 10 grand less. And they're really not that different. I love my Toyota Tundra, but let's be honest, there hasn't been a refresh in that truck since like 07. Uses the same V8 and transmission that they've had for over a decade. So why are they so much more expensive now? Simple, because they can. Because the American consumer can borrow it. Well, where does that debt come from? Well, we're printing all this money. Banks got to lend it. Bank does not make money with money sitting in their vaults. Which is kind of funny. What bank has a vault anymore, right? Your safe at home is probably bigger than your local bank's vault. So inflation is here, and real estate shields you from a lot of that kind of nonsense. Why? It's inflation adjusted. As the price of houses go up, so does your net worth. It's really fascinating. Embracing the reality of inflation. Now, I don't think we're ever going to get to a hyperinflation environment or a currency collapse. I know there's all these guys on Facebook that are, and Rob is just now getting into all the right-wing conspiracy stuff. And I'm like, oh, I've heard all this stuff for decades, man. It's hilarious. There's a big debt reset coming, and there's a hyperinflation thing, and there might be a deflationary thing. And, what happens when our currency becomes worthless? And, it takes a wheelbarrow of hundreds to go buy bread. And I'm like, none of that stuff's going to happen in the United States. But it's fun to have that conversation. So let's go down the road. Let's say it takes a wheelbarrow full of hundreds, like the Weimar Republic, post-World War II Germany, to buy a loaf of bread. Well, what is my house worth now? And the joke I've had for years is, look, whether you're paying me in dollars, in euros, or sacks of potatoes, I'm still getting paid. Your whole job as CFO of your household is to buy as many of those real assets as you can, meaning real estate and businesses. Buying, another mutual fund or a bond or a stock is great and all, but I wouldn't make it the focus of your wealth building. Now, can you get rich doing stuff on the stock market? I mean, sure, though the data kind of argues that's probably not the case. Real estate just has much better returns, and it's something we understand. I've had plenty of stocks go to zero. I've had zero real estate I've owned go to zero. The worst thing that happens in real estate, you just got to hold on to it a little bit longer. That's it. So let's talk a little bit about mortgage defaults and delinquencies and all that stuff that you're seeing in the mortgage market. These forbearances opened up a really unique opportunity for a lot of people. And let me explain why that is. We're seeing forbearances. Let me back up. If you are given the option, you just take the average American is given the option, say, hey, you could pay your mortgage this month or not and just put it on the back of your 30-year mortgage. Do you think they'd do it? Most people would say yes. Oh, wait, I don't have to make those payments? Nah, just put it on the back of the loan. We'll catch you guys up later. How many Americans are not going to pay their mortgage? Answer, a lot. Because you're not getting foreclosed on. There's no threat. Well, maybe a better way to say it, there's no risk that you lose your house. I mean, what do you think would happen if, hey, you don't have to pay your cell phone bill this month. We'll just tack it on to the end of your contract. How many people are going to pay their cell phone bill? I don't know, but a lot. Some folks are actually using this as an opportunity to renegotiate with their lender. The rate or the term. Let's say somebody's in a 15-year and they go, hey man, this 15-year mortgage, it's kind of steep. Can I get a 30? Yeah, let's see if we can get you approved for a hardship and refinance your mortgage. I've also heard people renegotiating the rate. So a year and a half ago, that rate was 4.1, 4.2, 4.5. Can you renegotiate that rate into a 3? So I realize the underlying data looks like there's this bloodbath and everybody's about to lose their homes, but that's really not the case. And when I get back from the break, I'm going to explain why that is on how borrowers have changed over the last 10 years. Jason Bible, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Okay.
All right. This is your last segment.
Oh, man, they go fast.
They do go fast. All right. Do it.
Ooh. Just want to reiterate to everybody, we are moving over to YouTube. Facebook has this. Something's going on Facebook. We noticed it about a little over 6-8 months ago, and we watched a couple other guys that kind of do what we do, and it looked like their growth, I want to say the growth stagnated because our group is over 2,000 now. If you guys want to interact with us, go to the Mr. Texas Real Estate group on Facebook, Mr. Texas Real Estate. It should say Mr. Texas Real Estate, Jason Bible, and Robert Orfino. Pop into that group. You're welcome to ask questions. The only thing we ask is don't spam. If you spam it, we'll just delete it. Let me put it this way. If it's an innocent kind of spamming, I just delete it. If you are like a hard money lender, or you own a construction company, or you're some kind of wannabe real estate guru and you're pitching your wares, we just delete it and block you. So we got a zero tolerance policy for nonsense because we got other stuff we're working on, and patrolling our Facebook group is not paramount to what we do. So you guys are welcome to interact with us there. And if you got deals or you got money you want to lend to us, you want to invest with, all that kind of stuff, you can go to our website, mrtxre.com, and send us an email through there. Or you can actually message Rob and I both on Facebook. We actually do answer our messages and all that stuff. So we're not hard to find there. Let's talk about mortgage forbearances and why I don't think it's the bloodbath everybody is, well, I shouldn't say everybody. Some of the experts are predicting it is. There's a great chart, and it's on Housing Wire's website. Go to housingwire.com and pull it up. They did an analysis. There's an analyst there that looked at the credit scores of borrowers by tier over the last 20 years. Now, I believe it's behind their paywall, so I'm not sure if you can get to it. I've got the graph saved somewhere, or the chart saved somewhere. And it's a bar chart, and by year, it'll show the number of people, the proportion of folks that, let's say, have a 720 credit score or better. And then it'll have like 719 to 640, and then 639 to like, I don't know, 500. And what you'll find is over the last 10 years, something like 85% of borrowers had a 700 plus credit score. Maybe it wasn't 85, maybe it was 80%. 80% were 700 or better. Compare that to the pre-crash, the 10 years before the last crash, and the 700 credit score may have been 50% of borrowers. So there were a lot more risky borrowers, maybe I shouldn't say risky, presumed to be risky because they had a lower credit score 10 years preceding the last real estate crash. Since the last real estate crash, 2008, almost 80% of borrowers had a credit score of 700 or better. So what does that mean? That means these people asking for forbearances, let's say they are in some kind of financial hardship. It doesn't mean they're going to lose their job or they've lost their job and they're not going to pay their mortgage. It may just mean, hey, they've got a temporary stop in income, but once things get back to normal, they'll be back on their feet. And they've got a 700 plus credit score. So it's not like it was before the crash. Before the crash was, you fog a mirror, you get a loan. It's not been like that for over 10 years. So who are the people that are buying houses? Folks who typically have a bit more cash, they've got better credit, and they've got more assets. And when you have a better credit score, typically you have a better job. So just the overall quality of the borrower is much, much higher. So I wouldn't take a lot of stock, if you will, from mortgage experts or market experts that are saying, oh, there's going to be all these big crashes and the world's going to end and all that just based off forbearance numbers. I can tell you right now in Houston, Texas, we need a 2007 style real estate crash times 10 to get to a buyer's market. We would need a real estate crash that is 10 times worse than 2007 to get back to what's called a, quote, buyer's market. Like, it would have to be so bad. I can't even envision a scenario that bad. Remember, we're here in Houston in the middle of an oil crisis. Like, it is really bad for oil and gas right now. And I believe on a adjusted basis, it is worse than the 80s. Like, it is way worse. Keep in mind that 50 to 60% of our businesses are still not open, or they're not even close to having the traffic they had pre-coronavirus. This morning I was at my favorite taco place picking up tacos. And usually that place has a full parking lot. There's people standing out the door waiting to get tacos. There's the to-go. It's crazy. There's bodies everywhere. And since coronavirus, I'll go there and there's like 6 dudes standing there. That's it. There's no lunch crowd. There's no evening crowd. It is real strange. I'm driving around the Heights. And the Heights here in Houston is usually where all the, quote, young people live. All the hipsters. A lot of the hipsters are in the Heights. Hipsters and young professionals. So that usually means starting Thursday night, bars get kind of full, restaurants start getting full, people are going out, having a great time. I have not seen any of that at that level since Corona. Like, there's just not that many people out. I mean, think about it. I completely forgot until I saw the news yesterday. The Rockets are in the playoffs. Do you know what Houston looks like when Rockets are in the playoffs? Anytime they're playing, bars are full, restaurants are full, people are going out and having big old house parties. I mean, this town turns into a party town. On top of that, we got baseball, and we're headed into football season, right? So we'd be getting training camp updates and all. There's like none of that is going on. I mean, basketball's going, but nobody's watching. Baseball's sort of here. Nobody's really watching that either. I mean, this time of year for Houston, Texas, here until October is like weather's getting good, sports are crazy, so everybody's doing sports stuff, kids are back at school. I mean, it's like there's so much economic activity. It's mind-blowing. So despite none of that occurring, and we're in the middle of an oil crisis, our property prices are up 11% since January. So what does that tell me? There's still a lot of demand out there, and there's not a lot of supply. I saw some home builder data, home builder sentiment, meaning how positive they believe the market is going to be for new home construction, tied an all-time high since they've been tracking this since like the 70s. Here's another little tidbit. Lumber is doubled in price in the last year. So if you want to build a house or an apartment, your lumber bill just doubled. And why is that? It's actually an issue with supply and demand. All right, guys, when we get back from break, we'll talk a little about our mastermind. Thanks for watching. All right, that was the last one?
That was the last one. You want to do a short out or just use the standard?
The standard out's fine.
Okay.
All right, thanks for watching, guys.